Should I quit using Canva due to their new terms of service? If you're a digital marketer, content creator, or designer who relies on Canva for your creative work, you need to pay attention to what I'm about to share. Recent updates to Canva's terms of service have raised significant concerns that could fundamentally impact your intellectual property rights and business relationships. These changes aren't just minor legal adjustments buried in fine print. They have real-world implications that could affect your client relationships, your competitive position, and your creative control. Whether you're creating content for yourself or for clients, these new terms could be putting your work at risk in ways you might not even realize. Today, I'm going to examine the implications of these changes, analyze the potential risks to your intellectual property, and provide you with actionable strategies to protect your creative work, whether you choose to continue using Canva or migrate to alternative platforms. By the end of this presentation, you'll have the clarity you need to make an informed decision about your design workflow.
Understanding Canva's updated terms of service. Let's start by examining exactly what Canva's new terms actually say, because the implications are more far-reaching than most users realize. The key concern centers around the perpetual license that you now grant to Canva simply by using their platform. When you create content on Canva, you're giving them the right to use your work for marketing and promotional purposes, training their AI systems, platform development and improvement, and, here's the concerning part, any other purposes Canva deems appropriate. Now, Canva doesn't claim ownership of your work, but the broad scope of this license has significant implications, especially for creators working with proprietary content, client materials, or in competitive industries. Let me break down the real-world implications. This means that designs you create could potentially appear in Canva's marketing campaigns without additional consent from you. Your work could be used to train AI algorithms that may benefit your competitors. Your designs become accessible to Canva's teams for their internal purposes. And perhaps most concerning, your work remains under Canva's license even after you delete the content or close your account. For marketers handling confidential client work or proprietary designs, these terms represent a substantial risk to intellectual property security and client confidentiality agreements. This isn't theoretical. This is happening right now to every design you create on the platform. Risk assessment. Who should be concerned? Not everyone faces the same level of risk from these new terms, so let's identify who should be most concerned about continuing to use Canva. First, client-facing marketers. If you create designs for clients who expect exclusive rights to their materials, Canva's terms could potentially violate your service agreements. Many client contracts include clauses about third-party licensing that may directly conflict with Canva's perpetual license claims. You could find yourself in breach of contract without even realizing it. Second, agencies handling sensitive information. Marketing agencies working with NDAs, confidential launches, or proprietary information face elevated risk. Your obligation to protect client confidentiality may be compromised if design materials can be accessed by Canva for their internal purposes or AI training. This puts you in a legally precarious position. Third, creators in competitive industries. If you work in highly competitive fields where design innovation provides market advantage, allowing your creative assets to potentially train AI systems could indirectly benefit competitors who use the same platform and its AI-generated content. You're essentially giving away your competitive edge. Fourth, businesses with brand exclusivity concerns. For brands that rely on distinctive visual identity, the possibility of your designs appearing in Canva's marketing or influencing their template development could dilute your brand's unique positioning in the market. Your carefully crafted brand identity could become part of Canva's promotional materials. Who can likely continue using Canva? Despite these concerning terms, Canva remains appropriate for many users whose work doesn't involve significant intellectual property risks or confidentiality requirements. Personal content creators can likely continue using Canva safely. If you create designs for personal social media, blogs, or non-commercial projects, the licensing implications likely pose minimal risk to your content strategy. The stakes are simply lower when you're not dealing with client work or proprietary business content. Internal communication designers also face lower risk. Teams creating materials strictly for internal use, company newsletters, team updates, internal presentations, generally don't have the same intellectual property concerns. Since this content isn't client-facing or competitively sensitive, the licensing terms are less problematic. Similarly, those creating non-proprietary marketing content may find the convenience still outweighs the risks. Content with short lifecycle value or minimal competitive advantage, like social media graphics or generic email headers, may not warrant switching to more restrictive platforms. As one marketing professional put it, for many marketers creating everyday content without sensitive intellectual property concerns, Canva's convenience and accessibility may still outweigh the potential licensing risks. The key is honestly assessing whether your content falls into these lower-risk categories. Alternative design platforms. Comparative analysis. If you've decided that Canva's new terms are too risky for your work, let's examine the most viable alternatives and how they compare. Adobe Express offers a robust alternative with comparable ease of use but more creator-friendly terms. Adobe's licensing policies generally grant you greater control over your content while providing similar template-based functionality. The interface will feel familiar if you're used to Canva, but the intellectual property protections are significantly stronger. Pricing starts with a free tier, and premium plans begin at $9.99 per month. Figma is preferred for collaborative, professional-level design work with more precise control and advanced features. While less template-driven than Canva, Figma offers superior customization and clearer intellectual property protections. It's particularly strong for teams that need to collaborate on designs in real time. They offer a free tier, with professional plans starting at $12 per month. Affinity Designer presents a one-time purchase option for those wary of subscription models entirely. It offers professional-grade design capabilities with no ongoing licensing concerns, though it does have a steeper learning curve than Canva. For $69.99, you own the software outright with no subscription fees or licensing complications. Each alternative offers distinct advantages in terms of licensing clarity, though they may require additional training or workflow adjustments. The right choice depends on your specific design needs, budget constraints, and intellectual property concerns. Practical strategies to protect your creative work. Whether you choose to continue with Canva or transition away, here are practical strategies to protect your creative work. If you continue using Canva, consider implementing a split workflow. Reserve Canva for low-sensitivity content while using alternative tools for client proprietary work, sensitive information, or designs with significant intellectual property value. This gives you the best of both worlds: convenience for everyday content and protection for high-stakes work. Leverage Canva's privacy settings. While not a complete solution, utilizing Canva's privacy options can minimize unintended exposure. Mark sensitive designs as private and limit sharing to essential team members only. Every small step helps reduce your exposure. Create client disclosure protocols. Develop clear communication protocols informing clients which designs will be created in Canva and the associated licensing implications. Consider obtaining explicit consent for platform usage. Transparency protects both you and your clients. If you're transitioning away from Canva, develop a migration timeline. Create a structured plan to transfer existing projects to alternative platforms, prioritizing the most sensitive or valuable content first while maintaining business continuity. Don't try to do everything at once. Archive existing designs by exporting and locally storing all valuable Canva designs before deleting them from the platform. This ensures you maintain access to your work without ongoing licensing concerns. Finally, invest in team training. Allocate resources to training your team on alternative design tools, focusing on workflow efficiency and the specific features most relevant to your marketing needs. The transition will be smoother with proper preparation. Legal and contractual considerations. Let's address the legal and contractual implications that many marketers overlook. First, review your existing client agreements. Examine your current client contracts to identify potential conflicts with Canva's terms. Many service agreements include clauses about exclusive rights, third-party licensing, or confidentiality that may be compromised. Pay particular attention to language regarding work for hire, ownership of deliverables, and limitations on sublicensing or third-party access. Second, update your terms of service. If you continue using Canva for certain projects, consider updating your own terms of service to disclose the platform usage and its implications for content ownership and licensing. Be transparent about which design tools you use and how they might affect the intellectual property rights associated with deliverables. Third, implement tool-specific client approvals. Develop a process where clients explicitly approve the use of specific design tools for their projects, acknowledging any associated licensing implications. This creates a documented trail of informed consent that can help mitigate potential disputes about content usage rights. Fourth, stay informed on terms evolution. Schedule regular reviews of Canva's and other platforms' terms of service to track changes that might affect your work. Terms frequently evolve, sometimes becoming more restrictive, or occasionally more favorable. Consider subscribing to legal updates specifically focused on digital creative tools and intellectual property rights in the marketing space. Key takeaways and action plan. Let me wrap up with a clear framework for making this decision and specific action items you can implement immediately. Your strategic decision framework should be based on a careful analysis of several factors. Consider the sensitivity and proprietary nature of your design work. Evaluate your contractual obligations to clients regarding intellectual property. Assess the competitive advantage your designs provide in your market, and weigh the practical workflow benefits Canva offers versus alternative platforms. There's no one-size-fits-all answer here. Many marketers may benefit from a hybrid approach, using different tools for different types of content based on sensitivity and value. Here are your immediate action items. First, conduct an audit of your current Canva content, categorizing everything by sensitivity level. Second, review your client contracts for potential conflicts with Canva's terms. This is crucial for protecting your business relationships. Third, evaluate alternative design platforms that align with your specific needs and risk tolerance. Fourth, develop written policies regarding which platforms to use for different types of content. This creates consistency and reduces decision fatigue. Fifth, create a communication plan to address client concerns about content licensing. Transparency builds trust. For more insights on navigating digital marketing tools and protecting your intellectual property, join our free digital marketing mastermind group, where we discuss these evolving challenges. The link is in the description. The bottom line is this: Canva's new terms represent a significant shift in how the platform treats user content. While they may not affect everyone equally, Understanding these implications is crucial for making informed decisions about your creative workflow. Your intellectual property is valuable. Make sure you're protecting it appropriately.